What's good? Welcome to NFL Total Access presented by Bridgestone. Appreciate you for hanging with us on this Monday night doubleheader. By us, of course, I mean myself, Kyle Montgomery, flanked by a couple of Super Bowl champs, James Jones, and of course, our Hall of Famer, Terrell Davis. 15 games in the books to open this week one. We just saw one wrap up between the Giants and the Steelers. Let's get you right to the highlights. No sense in waiting. Welcome, guys. Good to be working with you again here in 2020, by the way. Good to see Joe Judge on the sidelines. His first year, leading the G-Men. And obviously, Big Ben's returned to the field after missing 14 games last year. No miss right here, fellas.
Dialing them up.
Yeah, Daniel Jones hits Darius Slayton 41-yard touchdown. Jones loving it. Jason Garrett, his new offensive coordinator, unleashing all of his weapons. Jones, though,
What?
yeah, he's had some issues protecting the football dating back to last season, fellas. And here he gives one away
That was nice.
to T.J. Watt.
Couldn't get in. Just stop. I'm going to get that one. Hey, might have to put in a package at tight end for T.J. Watt after seeing them hands.
No doubt. After a slow start, Big Ben started to warm up here, fellas. And here's vintage Ben off the back foot. And that heavily protected elbow. It's Juju Smith-Schuster for the 10-yard touchdown. So a 10-9 game, and here's Saquon Barkley getting out in the open field. This was one of the few bright spots, JJ, that we did see from Saquon in a game that he got locked down.
Finally, I was just telling TD his offensive lineman need to apologize to him and buy him some gifts because he could not get started all game long. Finally, he get a little green grass in front of him.
Yeah, 38-yard game for Saquon Barkley. Still a 10-9 game. And here's Big Ben in his bag. Here's James Washington, 21 yards, down to the 45. 2 plays later, Big Ben, Juju Smith-Schuster. That's a game of 17.
Now that's the Big Ben. That's the Big Ben we're used to seeing. A guy who stands in the pocket, buys some time, throws that strike. Look at him right here.
Yeah, this
steps back, runs it up, and the big fella, look at him, he lumbering. Gets down.
Yeah, and this drive right here, too, man, this is the drive that kind of got the Pittsburgh Steelers offense rolling, and Big Ben, man, they was in rhythm. You got their little 2-minute drive going before the half, scored a touchdown. This was a big drive for them to finish off the half, man.
And how about that extra effort from James Washington getting in for the 13-yard TD? Steelers led 16-10 at half. Now, this is third quarter now. Speaking of bringing the heat,
throw it away.
Bud Dupree was harassing Daniel Jones all day long. Cameron Hayward there for the pick in the end zone.
Watch this vertical. Look at that. Bud Dupree knocks it up. Watch the vertical of the big fella.
Okay, no, that wasn't too bad. That was a one-legged leap. He got enough air to pull that one down. But again, Bud Dupree causing all kinds of issues. So, fourth quarter now. It's Benny Snell Jr. 30 yards for the Giants, 14. Yeah.
This reminds me of that old Pittsburgh Steelers, team. They're going to play good defense. They're going to smack you with the run game. Benny Snell got the job done.
Yeah, and the run game opens up the pass game. By the way, Snell Jr. first career game with 100-plus yards. Juju Smith-Schuster, 8-yard touchdown. Look at me. Steelers would go on to win after 23 unanswered as they top the Giants at MetLife Stadium to start their 2020 campaign. 26-16, the official final. You see Ben Roethlisberger's number, 21-32. Not too shabby, 229. 3 touchdowns there. And Juju Smith-Schuster leading the way, 6 grabs, 69 yards, and 2 taters. All right, why not talk about Big Ben? What's the big story coming into this game? Missing most of last season, almost a full year after elbow surgery. All indications coming out of camp is that he looked good. He said he was a little bit nervous coming into this game. Butterflies, I don't know if I bought that. Did either one of you guys buy into the whole nervous Big Ben? Because once he shook off the rust, he started balling.
Yeah, I'm buying it because he showed it early in the game. I mean, he was missing throws that he would normally make. You can tell he was a little tentative. There was one play where he was back, throwing a pass, and it looked like somebody hit him in his knee. And so you can tell early on he was just not comfortable with being out there. But he shook it off, man. He bounced back and started to give us some nice throws. We saw the touch pass to Juju Smith-Schuster, for that touchdown. he started to become the old Ben that we've seen, the guy who's bowed down with an arm tackle. He was just out there willing his team to win, and that's the guy we've seen before. So, this team, all they were missing last year was Big Ben. Their defense played outstanding. They still were, finished with an 8-8 record. And when you plump this guy, you put him back into the fold, this team is now competing with the Baltimore Ravens. I know people are saying, wait a minute, TD, slow down. The Ravens are much more superior. I don't know, man. I think Pittsburgh is a team that the Ravens have to deal with because of that guy right there, number 7. He's feeling better than he ever has. And sitting out for the year, to me, I think when you get a chance to sit back and actually watch your team and take a step back to reevaluate your life and where you are and realize he doesn't have much longer to play this game, I think Ben has said, man, right now, I want to win another chip.
TD, I agree with you. And the only reason why is because after he put that black elbow sleeve on and warmed that elbow up, he came out there slinging that thing over the yard. But the drive to me that got him going was the last drive, the 2-minute drill before the first half. He called the plays. He was getting the ball out of his hands fast. He took some shots down the field, and he was just connecting with his receivers. He made a big run with his legs, and you could tell he started getting in the rhythm, man. And to me, that was really the possession that changed this game, man, because the Giants' defense was playing well until that last drive, man. They were bend but don't break. And then that last drive, Big Ben got it going. That elbow was warm. He started making throws that we used to Big Ben seeing. And he was connecting with his wide receivers. But this play right here, this let me know he's getting in the rhythm of the game. When he used his legs, got outside the pocket, got a big-time first down, and started connecting with his wide receivers. And this is what got him in the mojo. And all the jitters is gone. Now, once you get in the 2-minute drill, we out here playing football. So it's good to see Big Ben back out there, man, and to put together some drives like that and go down the football field. But, yes, you're absolutely right, TD. Baltimore Ravens better look out. We know these division games ain't nothing to play with. These division games is hard to win. We used to play the Chicago Bears when they was no good. We 13-2 going into the last game. They 7-8, and next thing you know, you look up in the fourth quarter, it's 3-3. These division games is hard to win. So do not count the Pittsburgh Steelers out, even though as good as Baltimore looked.
Yeah, and to both of you guys' points, even though the Steelers had a revolving door quarterback last year, they finished 8-8 and just barely missed the playoffs. You get a healthy Big Ben back this year. I don't know about topping the Ravens, TD, but
wait, I didn't say top the Ravens. Okay. I say they're going to contend. Competition. Don't just give the Ravens the division right now. Don't do that.
You got to earn it.
TD, you're taking Overreaction Monday to the next level.
Okay.
Listen, we knew coming into this game that whoever dominated the line of scrimmage was going to have a better chance to win this football game. There were questions about the Giants' offensive line, kind of unproven, and you knew what the Steelers were bringing back defensively with Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward and what they bring up front. We saw that storyline play out in front of us tonight. It looks like the Steelers team is going to field another dominant defense again here in 2020. When you look at the 22 QB pressures, 3 sacks and 2 picks tonight on Daniel Jones.
I don't know how many blitzes that the Steelers did tonight, but they were relentless in going after Daniel Jones. You can tell the game plan was we're going to blitz our way to the quarterback and hit Saquon as many times as we can on our way. And they were bringing 5, sometimes 6, sometimes they'll bring 4. And I think their defensive coordinator, Keith Butler, did an outstanding job of mixing up the blitzes, making the offensive line think that certain guys were coming when they would bail out into coverage and just get on Daniel Jones. Like you said, yeah, they got to him 3 times tonight, 2 interceptions, but they should have gotten probably 5 to 6 sacks against Daniel Jones because of the amount of pressure they brought. They were never comfortable. I mean, Saquon Barkley, the game he had 15 carries, 6 yards. That speaks volumes to what that defense did. And that defense last year, they led the league in sacks with 54. The old Blitzburgh Steelers is back.
Yeah, you're right, TD, man. And I was on record saying that Saquon Barkley was going to go out here and have 200 scrimmage yards, man. And they could not. I said that about this game going up against the Steelers defense, man. But I just knew that the Giants are going to come in and be the run-first offense that they should be because he's their best player. But he could never get started, man. It's credit to this Pittsburgh defense, man. Right when he got his hands on the football, he had nowhere to go. They tried to get him in the passing game, but he had nowhere to go. And then once they shut the run down, it was all about Jones is still a young quarterback. This is his second season in the National Football League. So you know what? We are not going to give him the same looks. We are going to switch this thing up all game long, make him pick up these blitzes, force him to check out a route that he may not have been checking to in the training camp, and let's come after him. And once they slowed down Saquon Barkley, you could tell their game plan was to make it hard on Daniel Jones. Let's get after him, bring some heat on him. And he made some good throws, but then he made some throws where you say, what are you doing? Throw the ball away, and that's when you still seen the young Daniel Jones still showing up this season. But he ran into a big-time defense. Hopefully they could go and correct it and come back and get better. But they brought the house after him tonight, and they brought it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, even on the road.
The problem, Cal, the problem for the Giants is their offensive line. Their offensive line right now, you have a rookie at left tackle. You have a guy you got last year in the second round, has been inconsistent. You've got a center who was playing. He was actually a tackle, went down to center. You've got a guy that came in against Cam Irvin that was with Dallas last year. So you have this line you're trying to piece together to have a better sense of blocking. And we know this, JJ. You know this. It takes time, especially with no preseason, to get an offensive line to gel. That to me is going to be the issue with them and the question mark. Can they get that offensive line? Has always been a problem for the Giants for the last 4 to 5 years. They've got to figure a way to get that line solidified, because you got a running back there. He needs blocking. He's a great running back, but he can't do it by himself. He needs some guys to open the hole for him. I mean, they threw the pass out to him, which was a screen pass. He had a nice run after that. But come on, man. You got to give this guy some help up front. I know they went up against this defense, so that was a tough challenge for them, but they've got to get better.
Yeah, most of Saquon Barkley's success tonight came on broken plays, and Andrew Thomas, the Giants' 4th overall pick, struggled mightily with Bud Dupree and that Steelers pass rush. So while he did struggle, we did have some clutch performers tonight. So let's take a look at that. If you're into fantasy, which I know you are, I had Saquon Barkley, by the way, and so it wasn't quite my night. You do see Saquon near the bottom there with 12 points, just over 12 points. Darius Slayton, a couple of touchdown grabs for him to lead the way. Happy. And apparently Damon Snacks Harrison taking a look too. He said, yo, at Cam Hayward, we got to talk about that pick, bro. I get the highest point rule, but you got to get some yardage for the big guys after that one. Good stuff, though. So sprinkling in maybe a little bit of hate there and love at the same time. Meantime, let's get it to MJ Acosta, who's got more on Tom Brady's debut with the Bucs.
Bucs at Saints. Tom Brady looking super Florida man in his first game with Tampa Bay. First quarter, no score yet, but Bucs first drive of the game, 2nd and goal, and Tom Brady sneaks it in over the middle, 2-yard touchdown run, and the Bucs lead 7-0 early on. Let's get you to the second, tied at 7. Saints ball 1st and goal, and Alvin Kamara rushes it in for the 6-yard score. Saints take the lead 14-7. To the third, Bucs trailing by 10, 2nd and 15. Brady throws it to Justin Watson, but yep, that guy, Janoris Jenkins, pick 6, goes 36 yards for the touchdown there. Saints win at 34-23. Brady after the game here.
I think that, anytime you turn the ball over like we did, we had opportunities out there to make plays, and it just came up short. So there's no excuses, and we're the only ones that could do something about it. The Saints kind of play how they always play. They did a good job on offense. We hung our defense out to dry, on some short fields with not moving the ball, not, doing very well on 3rd down at certain times. The turnovers really hurt us. And, got to clean that up for next week. We got to do a lot better job.
Let's welcome in Willie McGuinness and David Carr. Willie, we just heard from your boy Tom Brady there. Can we really just chalk this up to growing pains here with the Bucs?
Yeah, absolutely. And we knew that they would struggle at some parts because of it's a new offense for Tom Brady, new players within the offense. And anytime you got a quarterback trying to get on the same page with his receivers without any live games, it's going to be tough. So when you watch some of the plays that I picked out and show you some of these problems, here's the growing pains. Here's the trust part, okay? Mike Evans, you're running a skinny post. You have to run the route. You cannot break the route off because you see a safety over the top. You'll see him stop right here. Continue to run. Tom Brady is accustomed to receivers getting to the spot where he knows the ball's going to be delivered. He stops. He looks back at Tom Brady. Tom Brady thinks he's going to be in a particular spot. It turns into an interception. You have to trust one another. You have to execute the route and finish the play. Here it is again. Here's the timing, okay? You got O.J. Howard again, Mike Evans. They're going to run a crossing route. So you got them both going vertical, then they're going to cross. Right now, Tom is ready for the ball to come out of his hand, but the receivers are not open. There is no open window. He's not going to force it. So when he's not forcing the ball and he's holding the ball waiting for a receiver to get open, it's going to turn into plays like that. He's not a scrambler. He's not one of those shifty guys that's going to avoid run out of the pocket. You have to trust. You have to execute, be decisive in your routes, know the ball's going to be in a certain window, in a certain spot, at a certain time. He wants to get the ball out quick. This is something that they're going to have to work through. They will get better at it, but I don't think anybody who knows the game of football thought it would be perfect in their first outing.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Willie. They even hinted at that. Tom Brady at least hinted at that in his press conferences during the week, that it was going to take time for them to gel and understand the intricacies of what he's asking them to do on the offensive side. That play with Mike Evans, I've run it 1,000 times. It takes a very disciplined wide receiver and a good relationship with his quarterback, because you have to know if that safety is inside the numbers, are his feet touching the numbers, and that changes that whole route concept. So, yeah, you're right. Mike Evans has got to keep running right there, and Brady's going to trust him and throw him open. And on the crossing route, same thing. That has to happen faster. Run that in New England, we can pull up film for the last 2 decades, and we can see Edelman and those guys crossing super fast, balls out of his hands. So those are adjustments. But Donovan Smith, left tackle, the offensive line, they have to play better. They just have to. It's not going to work, because if this offense is going to go, you have the skill players, and he's going to throw on time. They're going to get better. They're going to get crisper. But right there, he's beat right off the snap. I mean, that wasn't even close. We're trying to run a screen here. That's one thing. But there's just too many times where the offensive linemen are getting beat initially right off the spot. And so Brady has to step up. He has to move. He's got people in his face. He does have ability. He has guys down the field that can win, that can make plays in matchup situations. But if he's not in a clean pocket, they're going to have a hard time this year.
All right, guys, thank you so much. And by the way, this was Brady's 4th career loss in a Week 1 game.
All right, coming up, the Steelers got the dub, but Phil, after missing 14 games in 2019 with an elbow injury, that elbow looks just fine off his back foot, no prob. Juju Smith-Schuster, 10-yard tater. Mike Tomlin, loving having his QB back. No more Duck Hodges to deal with this year. He's got Big Ben, and he was slinging that thing. Juju Smith-Schuster, 2nd touchdown grab, this one from 8 yards out. And having some fun in there with the camera. Steelers will go on to win 26-16, and a pretty dazzling return for Ben Roethlisberger. Here's Mike Tomlin at the podium after winning his 9th straight on Monday night.
Just in general about the game, man, we're thankful, first of all, to have an opportunity to play. We don't take it for granted in this environment we're in. It was an honor to be in here tonight and perform for Steeler Nation on Monday Night Football. We were excited about that regardless of, the game, atmosphere, and what have you. I thought our guys brought energy. I thought we could have played better. There was some sloppiness that's kind of reflective of where we are, and probably a lot of us at this stage, first time in the stadium. We dropped a punt there early. We got penalized on a 3rd and long and extended the drive. They scored on the next play. We kicked off out of bounds. We didn't start with great fluidity on offense. All of those things is reasonable to expect us to get better and get better in a hurry. We better because we got a short week and we got the Denver Broncos coming in. And so it's good to work on things, though, with the W. And so we're appreciative of that. We're appreciative of the effort. It's awesome to have our quarterback back and see him do the things that he does and in the manner in which he does it.
All right, Mike Tomlin, 16-2 in his last 18 Monday Night Football games as we welcome you back to NFL Total Access. Kyle Montgomery, Terrell Davis, James Jones hanging with you. That was one head coach in this matchup. The other head coach, Joe Judge. The Judge making his debut. You know the storylines, guys. He comes into this season trying to establish law and order on this Giants team. Hard-nosed, kind of old-school football coach. Hard to judge a guy based off one game, but did you see any inkling of this team being that kind of hard-nosed team that'll punch you in the mouth for 60 minutes, as he said he was going to field here in 2020? JJ, you first.
Well, when you look at this game tonight, if this is a reflection of your head coach, the New York Giants are in very good shape, man, because I thought the New York Giants, especially on the defensive side of the ball, came out playing lights out. You just heard Coach Tomlin say they did not start the ball game well. And that's a testament to the Giants defense, man. They played hard. They got after Big Ben. They stopped the running game. They were causing havoc the whole first half. They had really one good drive in that first half, and that was that last 2-minute drill. But they were making it hard on Big Ben all game long, man. And this defense was put in the bad situations with short fields, and they still were able to come out of there with stops, man. And this game was close, and really until the very end, man. And credit to the Giants defense. And like I said, if this is a reflection of the head coach, the way they played, the Giants are in very good shape, man, because they played hard, they battled, and they really were in this game if they didn't make some of the really simple mistakes that they made in this game.
Yeah, JJ, I agree. I mean, Joe Judge is, it's I guess his fingerprints on this team from, I guess, the first outing is that they competed, right? They were in this game. When you look at the drive they had in the third quarter, they had a 19-play drive that they came out, went 87 yards. And they had the unfortunate play where Bud Dupree hits Daniel Jones' arm. They throw the interception to Cam Hayward. But this team was in this game. And so I didn't see anything from the coaching standpoint where there was bad calls, bad decision-making, where they were blowing timeouts, anything where you see a team that seems like they're undisciplined. So I think they're in good hands as well. And again, I mean, we all have to understand, and I know we keep beating the same drum, is that these teams did not have a normal offseason. They did not prepare like they would normally do. They didn't have the training camps, the OTAs. I mean, it's tough to ask a team to come out here with a new coaching staff to perform against this team who's pretty much had their entire coaching staff intact. Most of their players came back. So I wouldn't judge at this time. Give them some more games. Let things play out more. We'll see how this thing works out. But I think right now, calm down, Giants fans. I think you're in good hands.
TD, I'm going to give you an opportunity to make a bold prediction here. When you look at the NFC East with the Eagles and the Cowboys and the Washington football
team. Don't you do it. Don't you say it. Don't you say what
I'm about to. I'm just posing a question. Can the Giants contend for the division crown? Don't laugh. Just answer the question.
I'm not laughing. I just think they have too much work to do starting up front on their offensive line. And that offense is very young, not enough playmakers. So I'm going to say probably not this year.
You know what? It's tough to say no after the first week. The Washington football team beat up on the Eagles. The Dallas Cowboys lost. I mean, it's safe to say that the New York Giants really looked as one of the best teams in this division. So I'm going to say wait and see, possibly, because what those two teams in the Cowboys and the Eagles put on the field this week, who knows? This division looks like it's up in the air again.
Yeah, we will see. It is very early. Week 1 still not done just yet. 15 games in the books. We have seen some outstanding fantasy football performers here. Your top performers from week 1 went ham. 41 fantasy points. Josh Jacobs doing his thing for the Raiders. Exciting running back there. Calvin Ridley, Russell Wilson. Man, Adam Thielen as well. Where's Aaron Rodgers on this thing? Did he go off as well? Maybe I'm just saying that because he was my starting quarterback. For more on fantasy football, add some fantasy flavor with my guy Marcus Grant. He's going to spice things up with the spice rack on the waiver wire here. Marcus, first of all, man, good to see you once again. Looks like you're comfy and cozy at your house. What you got for us?
Yeah, just, kind of chilling here at the house. And, yeah, we got some waiver wire spice. I mean, look, building a good fantasy football team, it is like cooking a meal. So you got to have some spice. You got to have some seasoning to kind of kick things up a little bit. So we'll start with the guys who are going to be extra hot on the waiver wire this week. Top of the list is Nyheim Hines there with the Indianapolis Colts. He moves up the depth chart after Marlon Mack, now down for the season with an Achilles injury. And even before the Mack injury, Hines is on the field quite a bit. Finishes the game playing 53% of the snap. He's with a quarterback in Phillip Rivers who loves throwing to his running back. We saw him get 8 targets on Sunday. There was talk that he could have a 10-catch game at some point during the season. Another guy who is going to be Sriracha-type hot this week on the waiver wire is Joshua Kelly, the rookie from UCLA, now playing for the Los Angeles Chargers. And at first the thought was maybe he would come in and take over that Austin Eckler role in the offense. That's not the case. He's actually coming in to sort of take over that Melvin Gordon role. Now, he wasn't on the field a ton, just 17 snaps, but he touched the ball 12 times, which means when he's on the field, he's going to get the ball in his hands. And plus, looks like he's going to get that goal line worked, which makes him a pretty valuable option, a guy you want to pick up and a guy that you might be able to use as a flex option on a lot of weeks.
Nothing wrong with a little heat on that spice rack, but let's drop it down a couple notches. Who's on the medium level, I guess you could say, on the spice rack, Marcus?
Yeah, guys, there's just kind of that black pepper that, it kicks it up a little flavor, but not too spicy hot. The first one is Malcolm Brown. So we'll stay in Los Angeles. We'll go from the Chargers to the Rams. And with Malcolm Brown there, we were wondering who was going to be the lead Rams running back this season. I don't know that we fully have an answer, but at least for 1 week, Malcolm Brown seems to have that job. He played 43 snaps compared to just 24 for Cam Akers. This is going to be a rotation all season long, so sort of be aware of that. But Brown looks like he's going to take the lead early in the year. This is the time you want to pick him up, put him on your roster. At some point, I do expect Cam Akers to take over that job. Now, the guy that you're probably picking up and hoping that he turns into something, that maybe he blossoms, kind of simmers a little bit with the meal, it's Laviska Shenault with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fantasy Twitter loved this guy. He was a jack of all trades at the University of Colorado, and it looks like he's going to do that down there in Duval County. He got the start this week opposite DJ Chark in that offense, but they lined him up everywhere. He was out wide, he was in the slot, even lined up as the Wildcat quarterback on occasion. So this is an offense that may not score a lot of points consistently, but Laviska Shenault should be on the field a lot, and there's a lot of chance for him to get the football in his hands throughout the season.
All right, y'all. Marcus Grant giving us a little extra flavor on our fantasy waiver wire spice rack. We appreciate you, my brother.
Appreciate it.
All right, the Cowboys weren't able to spoil the Rams' housewarming party in SoFi last night. Will this offense start clicking? David Carr and Willie McGuinness have the answers when we come back.
Football is a microcosm of America. All races, religions, and creeds living, playing, side by side. When we open the door for others to compete, we fulfill the promise of one nation. I am asking you to believe in your ability to bring about change. That anything is possible. We represent the game, our team, our community. My great-great-great-grandfather had no choice. We have one. I pray we dedicate ourselves to be the best team we can be, working and living together.
Oh, can we touch for a second? No matter what I give it to, my love looks better on you.
I'm gonna order some pizza for the kids.
Or order Subway. We ate foot-long subs all the time growing up.
They ate it so much, Dad opened one up in the shed.
What's in the Italian BMT?
You come here every day. Now get a free footlong when you buy two, because it's footlong season.
To play this NFL season, it takes medical experts developing safety protocols, cleaning crews sanitizing every surface, doctors and athletic trainers overseeing screening and testing, engineers finding innovative solutions to new challenges, and the entire NFL family doing their part to protect each other. As the situation with COVID-19 evolves, so do our safety measures.
Stand up if you are a first-generation college student. Stand up if you're a mother. If you are actively deployed, a veteran, or you're in a military family, please stand. The world in which we live equally distributes talent, but it doesn't equally distribute opportunity, and paths are not always the same.
I'm so proud of you, Dad.
I will tell you this, Southern New Hampshire University can change the whole trajectory of your life.
At Chewy, we know the best moments with our pets are made even better with food. And we believe those moments don't have to cost more money. So you can save on their favorite meals in between meals. Late night snacks, toys that look like meals, and even the prescriptions that help them stay happy and healthy. At Chewy, we have quality food, treats, and toys for every kind of meal, delivered right to your door. Save 30% on your first auto ship order. Visit Chewy.com today.
back to Total Access. Time to get you a look at the latest headlines from around the Tom Pelissero reports that Colts running back Marlon Mack's season is over after tearing his Achilles in Sunday's loss to the Jags. And Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch cleanly broke his collarbone Sunday against the Rams. A source tells NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport that Vander Esch will undergo surgery and be able to return to action in 6 to 8 weeks. Time now for more from MJ Acosta on how the reigning MVP Lamar Jackson did on Sunday against the Browns.
Browns at Ravens. Oh, Odell Beckham Jr., he struggled in this one. Third quarter, Browns trailing 24-6. It's 3rd and 10 at their own 45. Baker looking for OBJ, but it's broken up by Marcus Peters. Yeah, incomplete there. It's time for our reigning league MVP, Lamar Jackson, on the field now. Still third quarter, Ravens still leading 24-6. Lamar finds Willie Snead for the 19-yard touchdown. The Ravens win it 38-6. The Browns haven't won a season opener since 2004, y'all. Listen, it's a lot. Look at that score, 38-6. That was dominating fashion. It's just one of those things. Browns going brown. That's what a lot of people are saying today. But let's get over to our Game Center presented by Bridgestone. David Carr, you saw something a little different in Lamar Jackson that should have coaches concerned. What is that?
It's always fun when we talk about certain things in the offseason about how teams can improve, about how players can improve, and then you see it when you pop the film on Sunday. This was awesome to see. I love Greg Roman. I love what he's done, trying to push the envelope, trying to throw the football from the pocket with Lamar, because that was really their only limitation. So what I saw from Lamar was brilliant. I saw him alter some of the throws. This is a great picture. You got a lot of man coverage in the playoffs. They struggled against man coverage throwing the football. So what are you going to get in the first game? You're going to get man coverage. So as he drops back to pass, you got one-on-one here, crossing route. Now, the corner does a good job. He goes to undercut this throw mid-Lamar's release. So if he throws this on a line, a bullet's going to be intercepted. He does a great job of just putting a little bit of arc on it, and the defender has no chance. Brilliant throw, great touch. Loved that play. This is a great play design. You sneak Hollywood Brown into the slot. You run him at the middle safety. You think, okay, he's covered, right? So the corner now is going to occupy his eyes on the wide receiver on the outside. No one knows Hollywood Brown's coming back to the corner. You got the safety's hips turned, but then outside the numbers, down the field accuracy, fantastic throw by Lamar Jackson. If he's going to play football like this from the pocket with the read, the decisiveness, the touch on the ball, they're going to be in a world of hurt trying to stop this football team. I don't know how you physically can stop him, because now you can't play man coverage. You can't get up in their face. He's going to make throws like this down the field. It's going to be very difficult.
David, you were talking all the way leading up to this game about how Lamar was working on that arm accuracy, and he kept you honest in this one, didn't he? All right, let's head over
He did a great job.
Let's head over to the Bay Area. 2 QBs in this matchup with a lot of eyes on them in the same division. What did you see from Kyler Murray when the Cards took on the Niners?
Yeah, Kyler Murray is dynamic. I mean, the guy has so much faith in his athleticism. Sometimes you'll see him. He'll drop back in the pocket. He doesn't see it cleanly. He's not sold on the guys that are winning down the field. If it wasn't D-Hop yesterday like it is here, he dumps it down to him, gets it to him, gets a big play out of his stud wide receiver. But he's so dynamic running with the football. I'd like to see a little bit more. And Willie talked about this early in our meeting when we were discussing it, and it was a good point. If you can get him on the move, if you can get him out of the pocket in situations where he feels like he doesn't have to try, and I know this is, just because he's short, this happens. Drew Brees does this. It's hard to see. So even if I'm 6'4", I had a hard time seeing there sometimes. So you want to try and move and slide. So if it's not clean for him, you almost have to create some of that for him. And he did protect himself when he ran, which was actually really good. Now, on the other side, you got Jimmy G. Jimmy G, some of the stuff that we talked about in the offseason, you got to get off your first read. You got to be able to get through progressions. This was a touchdown. This was a game winner right here that you had, and you missed it. And you had that in the Super Bowl, and you missed it. There were 3 or 4 plays down there where he had one-on-one coverage. He had guys open in the end zone. He went somewhere else with the football. It was a little concerning, and stuff that we talked about in the offseason was he has to get to the point, like Jared Goff has done, where he understands how to get through the progressions. He understands what the defense is going to try and do to him. He still has to take that next step. Too much reliance on what Kyle Shanahan hand delivers to you from the quarterback position. You got to be better.
Oh, this is going to be an interesting season, both for the Niners and for the Cardinals. David Carr, thank you so much. We want to check in on another game. Ooh, it was Cowboys at Rams, the first ever game at SoFi Stadium. That took $5 billion in 6 years to build, by the way. Let's get you to the third quarter. Rams ball, trailing 14-3. Malcolm Brown, ooh, a little stiff arm action makes his way to the end zone. The Rams lead 20-14. All right, fourth quarter, 31 seconds left. Cowboys ball trailing by 3. 3rd and 10. Dak Prescott launches it to Michael Gallup, who hauls it for 47 yards. But hold on a second. Take another look, because Gallup would be called for offensive pass interference, and that's a wrap. Rams win it 20-17, and they break in their new stadium with a dub. Willie, what you got for me?
Thanks, MJ. And Mooch, man, the Rams look great, but the first look at the Dallas Cowboys was not what everybody expected. I know they got a new head coach. I know they got a new defensive coordinator. But when you watch the way they played the other night, is it a slow start, or are you concerned about how they're going to proceed going forward?
Yeah, well, Willie, all I know is I love that new stadium, man. Isn't that something else? And I'm a little lukewarm on those new uniforms for the Rams. I'm trying to figure those out. But anyway, Cowboys lose another close one, didn't they? They did some good things on offense. You know, I thought Zeke had a pretty good game. He ran strong, and Amari Cooper did his Amari Cooper type thing, but they got to get more out of C.D. Lamb. He looked like a rookie in some ways. All right, here's the thing. Half of the games we play in this league are decided on the last possession of the game, okay? Half of them. And when the Cowboys won the division in 2018, you know, they had 12 one-possession games. They won 9 games close. Well, they're not doing that anymore over the last 2 years. They are 1-7 in one-possession games. And to win these games, you have to be good, Willie, as you know, in situational football. What's a situation? How about third downs? They only converted 3 third downs against the Rams. You got to sustain some drives. That's one area. How about the red zone? You got to be efficient in the red zone. I'm trying to decide if I like the call going for it on 4th and 3 and not kicking the field goal or not. They're trying to be aggressive and win the game. But the big one is the 2-minute drills. You got to be productive on 2-minute drills, really, on both sides of the ball. So with this new coaching staff, they're going to get better. They are under-practiced in these situations, but they got to put it together. They certainly have the talent. They have the talent. They have a couple injuries, but I think the Cowboys are going to be okay. But find a way to make plays when it counts at the end.
Mooch, you said it. And anytime we sat in our meetings or we were watching film, the coaches always put the emphasis on the little things, whether it was blocking, whether it was tackling, whether it's your assignment, executing, not causing penalties. And the other thing is situational football. The 2-minute drill is one of the most important drills you can practice and be really, really good at. The other thing is once you get in the red zone, you can't settle for field goals. You have to score points, especially against explosive teams. The other thing is third down. You got to convert, not only for the offense to keep drives going and make big plays and score points, but it helps the defense. And when you got guys wide open and you got plays that you practice over and over again, you've got to find a way to move the ball. You mentioned C.D. Lamb. He is young. He's a rookie. He'll learn. On 3rd down or 4th down when you're going for it, know where the first down marker is. Get to the marker knowing that when you catch the ball, you're going to be at the marker and fall for the first down. So everything that you mentioned, Mooch, is exactly right. You got to do the little things, situational football. I'll say it's a slow